Harvest. This is your review for 2. Good day, my name is Joe. Today we'll be going over Harvest and how it plays with 2 players. Now Harvest is a 1 to 4 player game where you'll be playing over 4 rounds. It is a worker placement game where you will have 3 workers per round to place out on the board. You can go to the farmer's market, the general store, the fields, and the workshop, all to build up your farm, have the most blue ribbons, the most prestige at the end of the game, and after those 4 rounds, whoever has the most wins the game. So see a little bit more how to play. So as I said at the beginning of the game, Harvest is played over 4 rounds. What's interesting about this is every player at the beginning of the game is going to get a tile. And then that is going to determine the order that they pick the next 3 tiles to be. They can pick one of these 3. The lower the number, the earlier you get to do your actions in the next round. However, the better rewards may be in the higher numbered tiles. So in player order, everybody's going to have their 3 wheelbarrows, their 3 workers in this game, and they're going to go to these different areas. The general store, the farmer's market. And the earlier you go to some of these, the more actions you can do there. So at the general store, you can get some fertilizer, refill your bucket at the plant, where if you go later, you may only be able to do one of those actions. So the farmer's market has a variability amount of things that are on there. They all cost money, but you get to do certain actions, get some plants. The general store, you can grab your seeds, your pumpkin seeds, your blueberry seeds, strawberry or wheat, or get some of the fertilizer. The fields is where you're actually going to deal with the board. Do you plant those seeds on the board? Do you tend? Do you get to harvest? And when you harvest, you earn the blue ribbons, the victory points for the end of the game. The trading post, that's kind of your last ditch effort to do some of the last actions that you may need to do or miss out on the other half of the board. In the workshop, you can build the buildings, you can clear some of the land off of your board, and you can upgrade your water bucket, if you will, get more. So every time you fill up your water bucket, you'll be able to tend more. So that's the name of the game, is just clearing up your farm, deciding when you want to build buildings, get some seeds, plant, tend, and harvest your seeds, and get the most blue ribbons. So see a little bit more what I thought about the game. So the rules for Harvest are pretty straightforward for a seasoned gamer. There's a couple variabilities when it comes to this special tile everybody gets. Everybody gets a different special tile. You get a different special character as well. So it's really how do you maximize the beginning of the turn. Then there's a 3 worker placement game built into each round. So you're going to play a total of 12 actual worker placement turns to try to build up your farm, clear your farm area. So the rules itself, fairly straightforward. The references are great. I don't even think I needed to reference the book after the first 1 turn of the game. Very straightforward. The components, we did get the upgraded components. We splurged a little bit for these, some of the neoprene mats and some of the tokens. But the components in this game are fine. Hopefully you do get the nice chunky wheelbarrows when you do your worker placement. So setup and table size. Setup's really not going to take you very long. There are some tiles to shuffle. You're going to get 6 face down, these forest tiles at the beginning of the game. And then as far as the rest, there's not a whole lot more setup. You just shuffle those tiles and place a couple things at the beginning, and you're ready to go. Table size really won't take up a ton. It a 2-player. This will take you about a 3x3. So the gameplay for Harvest, well, it's basic worker placement. There's not a whole lot to it. There is some thought that needs to go into when to plant certain seeds. Your pumpkin seeds are going to give you the most value, but it's also going to cost you the most fertilizer and the most water to multiply and to tend these, where strawberries and blueberries, kind of more the intermediates, where the wheats are the easiest to grow, but really don't give you a whole lot of points at the end, but they do give you some fertilizer. So there's a little bit of compounding actions in this game. You're going to start small. small and work your way up to those pumpkins, or you can kind of build, and then have a couple big sales throughout the game. But you're really only going to harvest maybe 3 times per game, maybe 4 if you're really lucky. So you really want to maximize the amount of points. Each building you have is also worth some points, and the buildings also give you a special ability for the most. They may give you end game scoring, or they may give you an immediate ability, and that's where you can really maximize a lot of your points. You know, the game points spreads have been very thin, so it's kind of a crunchier little game. There's not a whole lot to it. The difficulty in this game is not hard, but it is making sure you get the action before the opponents do, or before the Atoma does in a 2 or 1 player game. And like I said, it's fairly straightforward. I don't have a lot to say about the gameplay. It is fun. It is neat to get, you have 2 really variable powers. You have the variable power on the character card, and you have the variable power on this little tile that everybody gets. Everybody gets 2 characters and 2 tiles to choose from. You kind of make your combo for the game, and you kind of get started. The buildings that come out are going to be random. When you clear a tile in your area, you flip it over, and it's now one of the buildings to be bought for everybody. So there is a little bit of hidden information there, but you got to have a game plan going in with the initial one. But like I said, basic worker placement, not a whole lot to it. It is nice and cozy for the most part, but it is a little bit cutthroat when you take that spot that somebody else wants to take. So is Harvest good for 2? And I will say it's a decent game for 2. It doesn't do anything really special or out of the box. The Atoma comes with this cow. I think its name is Jerry or Gary. I don't know. We always flip-flop in between what we call it. But it also has a turn order, and it has some of these things where you flip over a tile every turn, and it's going to block one of the spaces. There have been times where they've been able to go first and kind of block a space that we need for the round, so it does kind of feel bad, but it is kind of neat to work on your toes. At the last round, you know, what if Gary gets in the way? And I need certain actions. So it does kind of add a little wrench in the 2-player game. But for the most part, it's not exactly super cutthroat, super head-to-head. Like I said, the biggest thing is blocking. Or maybe taking a tile before the other person. But that's basic worker placement. Like I said, this didn't do anything outstanding for me, but we had a good time. This was a nice, cozy game. We put our strawberries out. We tended our strawberries, got more. Our blueberry plants stayed out there, or blueberry bushes stayed out there the whole game. Able to put some more blueberries on there and just gain some points. This was a nice game. Just a little bit on the it didn't do anything really unique side of things. I did come with like a little achievement list, and we've been marking a couple of those off as we've been doing them. But like I said, straightforward. This is easy to teach. It's easy to get back to the table. It's not a bad game. It doesn't go into the great category for us. It is a very straightforward and good game. If you want a game really that's 2-player, that's going to be back and forth with a little bit of randomness on some blocking of spaces, and you may have to pivot a little bit. This is kind of just a straightforward game. So if you're looking for a farming game that's competitive, this is kind of fits the bill. We've been able to get this game down to about an hour or so when all is said and done with 2 players. If you're looking for a cooperative game, I'd still go with Stardew Valley as far as farming simulators and the farming theme goes. But for a competitive game, you know, this is easier to get to the table than Agricola or Fields of Arle or some of those other heavier farming style games where really you're trying to maximize the blue ribbons you get, trying to make sure Jerry or Gary doesn't get in your way, and really try to compete and trying to be as as, precise as you can with the 12 actions you get throughout the game. So really neat game. Didn't do anything unique for me, but a very good game. Doesn't quite go into the great category, but we've had a really good time with Harvest. So that's our review for 2, and until next time.